Hello, and welcome to the Human Being 101 podcast. I'm Kathleen Schaefer, and this is Conversations with Kathleen, where we discuss how to live the mission of the Human Being Store: better people, better work, better world. At HBS, our work is based on a new way of leading in our careers and our lives, and this podcast focuses on how to do that through the lens of current events. I wanted to talk this week about the idea of community and leadership. We again talk about our motto here at the store is better people, better work, better world, because they are all intricately related. How we conduct ourselves as individuals is very much a part of the quality and nature of our organizations in which we live and work, our communities. And of course, it is through that participations with these organizations that we create our society. And as we move through the coronavirus pandemic, so many people are witnessing what I think are not ways people are feeling and behaving that are new to Corona. Rather, they are ways that people have been feeling about our society that are just being laid bare in different ways. When we take a look at people who are continuing to feel that it is a wiser decision to shelter in place and look at the health of individuals and our organizations and communities, and those individuals who are feeling the desire to restart our economy and get people back to work. And I wanted to take a look this week at how we might be able to shift the perspective in all of this to one of leadership, to one of connection and alignment, and ultimately to one of how communities can really come together at this moment in a way that strengthen us as a result of what's going on, rather than feeling attacked or feeling challenged by what's happening. So the main suggestion and offering that I put out this week is it possible to exist as an individual leader, an organization, and particularly as a community where we aren't pushing and pulling against things? Now think about that, where we're not pushing and pulling against things. Particularly at a societal level in the last handful of years, so much of what we're witnessing is one side pushing in one direction, and we all know back to high school physics that when something is pushed, it is resisted with equal and opposite force. And that we've had a body politic leadership that has just been swinging the pendulum back and forth at greater and greater degrees of force and speed. That we push in one direction and we go back in the other. We push in one direction, we go back in the other. And for me, part of what coronavirus is showing us is that in this continual pendulum swing of back and forth, one of the things that's been lost is momentum forward. And the ability, which for me is, key to leadership, is to get out ahead of issues like coronavirus and others. So in essence, we've been living so much more at effect rather than cause. Think about that. We've been living at effect rather than cause. Leadership is, I would suggest, the opposite. It's living at cause rather than effect. So that I would say that one of the ways that we can begin to think about communities and how we heal as communities is we also look at relinquishing this idea that community is about one sector or segment or tribe pushing against the other, and that community really becomes, how can we allow all to live and grow and lead without having to make somebody else right or wrong or push. And if we just start, with that idea that we're going to relinquish the push, one of the first things that does is it relieves a lot of pressure and tension. And again, we've all seen the news stories. We've all watched it on our news broadcast, wherever it is. Just, we see it. It's the pushing. It's the other side is wrong and we are right. And it is inherent in everything that we see, and it keeps us in that state. And until that state begins to shift, the idea of community and coming together will be challenging. So, there are three questions or thoughts that I'm going to ask to even, dive deeper into this. Are we willing to align to our own health as individuals, people in your household, in order to create healthy communities? Right now, one of the things, again, that so many people are doing is pushing against, the virus and how we can create a vaccine and how we can kill it and how we can get rid of it. And I'm all for that and know that it's an important part of how we will navigate and move through this. I do, however, find it's interesting, having been involved with, public policy and its creation for most of my career, is that we are generally solving the last problem. And I get why it's important to have a vaccine for coronavirus. And guess what? There are a lot of other COVID viruses out there. There are a lot of other viruses out there that are equally, if not, more virulent. And so, one of the things is, are we going to only, again, push and pull against what's in front of us, or are we going to figure out a way to get focused and aligned to what it is we all want? And what we all want is health. And I do believe that for whatever is to come here in the next weeks and months and years as we navigate through this, that part of the most effective way that we're going to be able to do that is to allow some focus on health and how do we maintain health, rather than simply always pushing against an invader, as we've seen it, and trying to overcome it, because there will always be another invader. So if we start to take a look at, okay, are we willing to align with health? We start to release some of that push-pull tension within ourselves. And then we can ask ourselves, are we willing from that perspective to embrace the new rather than yearn for the old? And again, I'm coming at this from a perspective of alignment, which is key to leadership, rather than, again, the push-pull. And one of the parts that is, I feel, being an impediment to us managing through this in a way that can lead us quickly and effectively through is the fact that so many people are wanting to go back to what was, without the understanding that the what was is gone and never will be again. For whatever is to come as a result of, having gone through this worldwide pandemic here, our world is different and it can't go back to where it was. And so that's the pull, right? I want to pull back to what was. What I'm suggesting and asking people to consider here is, can we, instead of pull the old or try and pull it along with us, can we turn from this perspective of focus on health, that, not pushing and pulling with us individually, and turn and look and wonder, what is the new? What could the new look like? And in that, as you've heard me say in previous podcasts, there are a lot of people who were not happy, fulfilled, feeling prosperous, feeling secure, feeling joyful in the world before Corona. And clearly it's laid bare this in many, many ways for many people. And what, again, is this an opportunity for us to continue the push-pull, or is this an opportunity for us to be able to say, perhaps there's another way? And just even that thought of turning toward the new becomes an interesting way to orient ourselves. And the last question I pose to you today is, are you willing to be a part of the solution and not in the problem? And, I clearly understand the varying needs that people have. We've seen protesters this week about, wanting to feel free and be out and, have the economy back. We've seen people, again, push back on that and for the health and what that means. And, it's a practice we're all doing, myself included, is the push-pull going to lead us towards solution? And is there a different way that we can orient ourselves as individuals toward not continuing on with the battle, but rather looking forward for a way for our entire community to move forward? If nothing else, what coronavirus has shown us is that we're all in this together. We're all in this together. And that this push-pull, this demonizing of one or the other, valuing some and not others, all of it, if it doesn't stop, then there's going to continue to be more upheaval that will offer us the opportunity to, again, turn, embrace the new, and think about solutions that get to a point and a place and a way of holding all of us, not to be the same, but holding all of us in a way that says it's important, that everyone has something unique to offer, that people want to express the best of themselves, that they want to contribute to enriching our society. And the more that we can connect over that sameness, I truly believe that many of these differences will diminish and we will be able to find new paths forward. So the call to action for you this weekend is to consider, what is something that you'd like to see shifted and changed in the world right now? What is it that you could or would like to have improved? And then I ask you to consider, what is one thing that you can do today to embrace that in yourself? If you'd like to see more peace in the world, then be more peaceful. If you'd like to see less of this fighting and back and forth, then where in your own life can you let go of some of the push and pull or the right or wrongness? That's the catch here. Leadership isn't about going out there and doing something, especially at this moment while we're all here in our homes. This is the moment to really begin practicing leadership, because it all starts with us. It starts with getting connected with your gift. It's coming from that place of inspired action that says, I do have something that I can offer, and I can do it right here, right now. And in taking that step, it leads me to the next step and the next step and the next step. So there's a lot for you to do to begin leading and creating the world in which I believe we all want to live. So that's my invitation to you this week. I appreciate your time and your attention. I hope this podcast has been both useful and valuable to you. I invite you to join our Human Being Store open membership sessions. You can get more information on that and anything else that you'd like to learn about our work by emailing us at hello@humanbeingstore. I'm wishing you all a very peaceful week and a happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. Thank you.